Hands down, this has to be one of the most embarrassing defeats, embarrassing whoopings that I've ever seen in the Naruto verse for a main villain. Flat out, I don't think I've ever seen anything more disrespectful, more impactful in a negative fashion, and just all around something that would make me go, yikes, fam. Absolute yikes. Because in case you don't know what's going on right now in the Boruto manga as of chapter 71, let me fill you in on it, lads. And before we even do that, please hit that subscribe button and that bell to get notified. We got a lot of stuff on this channel all the time, anime and manga stuff. You won't be disappointed. I urge you, press those buttons. But dog, what is going on right now, dog? We spent all of 2021 and pretty much at this point exactly half of 2022 waiting for the limiter removal. Put the Yu-Gi-Oh card right here. We waited so long for Code to be liberated of, you know, the shackles of Amado's code that had him completely weakened compared to what his true strength would be. He was supposed to be, you know, stronger than Jigen essentially once the limiters came off. However, as of chapter 71, apparently Code can take a whooping from a little lad, mate. How old is Daemon now at this point? Like 8 years old? We gotta talk about this, fam. Let's get into it. Oh boy, I can feel the hate and a bit of the love coming. Let's do it.
No matter how you feel, get it done. No matter how you feel, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done.
Okay, people, let's start off with some love. I want to start off with some love. Well, technically, we already started off on some hate shit. Well, I was mostly giving you the consciousness of what a lot of the fandom has been saying. But off the rip, I gotta say, hands down, the colored page for chapter 71 of Boruto, if it's 72, I'm wrong. But 71 of Boruto has easily one of the sickest looking designs of the entire series. I'm not BSing. I'm not doing hyperbole. I really love Code's design with his limiters removed, with his full power. It looks absolutely sick. The way the purples is done, his white hair, all around, he just looks epic and awesome. And I feel like that is damn near peak Ikamoto art right there. Ikamoto's art has probably never looked as good as he did with this colored cover page. But does any of that really matter when the lad got his ass whooped by a little kid like, yo? This chapter of Boruto has been an absolute game changer. Everything is shifting, but hands down, I feel bad for the people especially that have been believers of Code from day one, because you're probably looking at it like, yo, dog, we spent so essentially less than 12 chapters for 2021, damn near, setting up that Code's revenge is incoming, and then about 6 chapters, more or less, 6 monthly chapters of 2022, saying, yo, our guy is coming, and... Wait. Dog got dusted off by Daemon. Shout out to Daemon. Hold up. I rocks with Daemon now. I gotta rocks with Daemon because we don't rock with number 2. We rocking with number 1, right? Homie got mollywopped. Homie got his back blown out. Pause.
I said I was gonna give the man everything I got.
Pause. Homie got destroyed by this little kid. Now, granted, he's not just the average little kid. These are some cyborgs that have been, you know, modified, all of that stuff. Him and Eida. Let's take the power stuff aside. You want to say, hey, that, you know, this is early on. Code is going to be something greater later on, whatnot. Fair enough. But then on top of that, the fact that he was seemingly building up his league of villains, so to speak, and we're going to get into the reference of that and why that is so crucial right now. Anybody that's read My Hero Academia, you're going to want to stay tuned in because seriously, I'm seeing the parallels that Kodachi, the original author of Boruto, spoke of in terms of where My Hero Academia is a massive inspiration for Boruto. But it was like he was building up his own league of villains. You know, we got Bug, we got Daemon, we got Eida, let's go, Eida is hacked, all of that stuff. And over some pairings and relationships, his entire operation that was built up in about a year and a half now of chapters has disintegrated. He got whooped on by a little kid, and he had to run away with an old man. With, I'm guessing, more than likely the possibility of, hey, later on he could use that old man to locate some of the other cyborgs that were supposed to be, you know, exposed of, that never were by Boro back in the day, that were created by Amado. So there's setups there in regards to him running away with Bug, but Jesus Christ, like, what? It definitely makes me feel to a certain degree like, yo, was this all a big waste of time? Was this all just like, hey, Eida, Daemon, yo, Code's revenge is gonna be crazy, all for it to boil and whittle down back to Code on his own by himself because Eida's getting the opportunity to finally see what that Kawaki D is doing? Speaking of the will of D, man, I'm making One Piece comparisons, relax. But seriously, dog, his whole operation fell because of feels. Now, let's talk the nitty-gritty regarding Code and why, despite the fact that yes, it is a little bit ridiculous, and yes, it does look like pretty much the big villain of Boruto right now just had the most embarrassing moment, and this is arguably the most embarrassing thing for a big villain. Like, you could even throw the argument right now from the perspective you will gain from this. Code is one of the worst villains of the Boruto story. In comparison to Ishiki Otsutsuki, see, people are looking at it from two different avenues. There is definitely a lot more intricacies because we've had a year and a half of building up Code's character than Ishiki, but the level of threat that Ishiki brought forth, it's like you basically cannot cancel out certain villains because they fit certain archetypes. That would be like saying, yo, Frieza's the worst villain ever because all he wants to do is destroy. He's just a maniac and shit like that. Ishiki, all he wanted was to get his freaking chakra fruit and drain the earth. Like, I felt legitimately scared for everybody from Boruto down to Kashin Koji. Holy shit, what the fuck happened to Kashin Koji? Why don't they even mention him anymore? They kind of like wrote that whole really interesting plot thread out of here like it was nothing. Time skip when? But I was scared whenever he showed up. I felt like he could have killed Naruto and Sasuke. I felt like Boruto and them were nothing, and it was thanks to some really awesome strategy, all of them working together, sacrificing Kurama to get through that thing. Like, that was a very big threat. It felt legitimate to me from top to bottom. I never felt like, this is gonna be a cakewalk from even when he was Jigen and he gave Naruto and Sasuke their first ass whooping the first time. Like, it was just like, I was scared to death of this dude, what he could do to Konoha. Code at this point is getting beat up by a little kid. But if we're comparing it to what Ukyo Kodachi, the original author of Boruto, said, the fact that he was using My Hero Academia as a springboard, well, if that's the case, let's put Code in the position of what he would be, which would be Tomura Shigaraki. And here's, people, if you've made it to this point in the video, we're fairly early on, where I would argue that there's a lot of potential in this ass whipping. And I'm not even talking about from a, lessons, man, you get the lesson and all of it, like, sure, that's all fine and dandy, but I think I understand now what's the disconnect, why I personally am like, get him out of here right now, but later on down the road, I might actually like him, and that's okay. You cannot box me in to say because you felt that on, June 20th, 2022, you cannot. No, because I didn't really care for Tomura Shigaraki early on in the My Hero Academia manga. I just felt like, hey, he got that cool design. Don't really care for him. He's constantly getting owned by the heroes, and that's the same thing that's happening with Code right now. You've seen the early ons. Basically, they're using the narrative to kind of almost show the uprising of a villain that starts off as a scrub and will probably later be very fearsome, and even, dare I say it, on the level or surpassing the fearsome nature of somebody like Ishiki Otsutsuki. Like, just imagine the roles were reversed with literature in general, and every time you see a hero, you always saw him at his peak. You never saw his uprising, and that's probably what we've been accustomed to with villains, that you normally don't see the villain from top to bottom. You just normally see, like, he's really strong, you can't mess with him. And while Code has been said to be strong, ultimately there's more to it than just what meets the eye. The fact that it seems as though they're setting things up, and that's probably where the disconnect comes in, because it's a monthly manga. Dog, we've had a year and a half of setting things up only for it to feel like the bridge is burning and we're going a different direction entirely. It makes you wonder how much direction is even planned out at this point if it's a year and a half of setting up Code, Eida, Daemon, Bug, and this layer and all that, only to rip it all away because Eida gets a chance to go, knock boots with Kawaki and Konoha. Which also brings another aspect that I wanted to talk about, and I want to know how you guys feel about it. The whole idea of Konoha allowing all of these people to just move on in. Hey, you're a super powered cyborg freak, and your brother is a psychotic nut that just destroyed this guy Code and wants to hurt and like mangle people. Like, yeah, come on in, dog. What? Granted, it was a desperate move at a last given moment, but ultimately, yeah, this is not good. Because also, if you look at it, they constantly are saying just how much all of these people have already surpassed Naruto, from Code, Daemon, all. It's like if, like, pretty much there's nobody really even strong in the Naruto verse anymore. Honestly, it's a valid thing that has happened. We've seen Sasuke lost an eye, Naruto lost Kurama, but it's really been a bad nerf of a lot of people that I'm still to this day like, okay, that's fair. Well, what about Rock Lee? I know a lot of people are like, dog, don't even start again. They've all been outclassed. So that just means the entire cast is irrelevant and always going to be. We're never gonna get that, Might Guy going 8 gates to fight Madara, but with Rock Lee, never gonna happen, huh? can get a new combo transformation of some sorts. Ain't gonna see Sakura throw down like Sarada and Mitsuki. They're not that relevant apparently anymore. Haven't been for a long time. We're going in a different direction. What is going on? Like, I see the vision, and that's why I can't completely slam it. I see the vision of basically we're seeing the beginnings. Think of the League of Villains season 1 My Hero Academia is what Code is right now, and you could even argue that this chapter is kind of like, in a weird way, oh my god, I'm about to compare Daemon from Boruto to All Might in My Hero Academia. What the f? But essentially, when Shigaraki got his ass handed to them and their plans were foiled, the League of Villains at the end of season 1 of My Hero Academia by the hands of All Might, that's where Code is right now. He had to run for cover. Bug would essentially be Oberon? I forget dude's name. You know, the shadow dude from My Hero Academia. That's pretty much what that is right now. And it's like, I get it that down the road, this is going to make a lot more sense and all that, but it's so much buildup, and I think probably one of the biggest problematic aspects of it and why it doesn't feel that it flows as well is the monthly release. If this was weekly, we probably wouldn't feel that way, because we know next week we'll get a little more advancement and we'll see a little bit more, not wait essentially 2 months, because in case you don't know, there's a Boruto hiatus. We're not getting a chapter next month, so we gotta wait 2 months after Code gets an ass. Who thought that this was a great way to make us wait 2 months, like on a sour note? Only thing I can think of is they felt like, yo, a lot of people just ain't rocking with Code like that, so we're gonna embarrass him and give you guys a smile for 2 months. Like, yeah. And no, that's not what I wanted. I wanted him to basically meet the levels of ferocity that I felt from Ishiki Otsutsuki alongside all of that 1.5 years of character development of, you know, building him up into being something special. Because again, like, character design, this is really like, I love his character design with the awakening. Like, that shit just looks so sick. But fam, you got mollywopped by a kiddo. Like, just imagine you think, yo, Fneb been bodybuilding or some shit. You see I'm like Jack Diesel, and then all of a sudden you catch a video of like my 5-year-old punching me one time and me falling down, and that's the end of it. You would be like, get Fneb's bitch ass up out of here. What is he doing? Who told him to think that he's tough? It would be a travesty. And then circling back to the whole threat in Konoha, so now we got a few different ticking time bombs, minus also power that we once had. We don't got, you know, Renegon in our possession. We don't got Baryon mode in our possession. We got these threats of Kawaki that pretty much they're saying has surpassed already Naruto at that, crazy as it sounds. We got Kawaki there. We got Eida that has this ability that is one of the most broken abilities in the entire Naruto verse. She could see anything at any given time, even threatens Code, yo, you try anything to me, you'll see my brother will get you. And then Daemon on top of all of that, like, you got this that you're about to move into Konoha. What is going on? Like, I don't know, couldn't they have told her, hey, for our protection we're gonna have to put some cuffs on you, but you can have conjugal visits with Kawaki? Like, that would have worked for her, right? And also an important aspect of this chapter we got to talk about is Amado's revelations that pretty much he has similar to what he had with Code, but a little bit different of a stop switch. Think Android 17 and 18, Dr. Gero having the remote to shut them down at will. Essentially, it is revealed that the same thing lies within Kawaki, and Amado is ready to do it at any given moment. And also, if he wasn't capping, if this was all fact from him, then that means that essentially he kind of just admitted there that he's been manipulating and playing Konoha, that basically he's using his, you know, ace in the hole, so to speak, of Kawaki, that at any given moment I own the show, I'm running shit, they can't do nothing to me, and that he has a bigger goal beyond anything. He admitted right there that there's a reason why he put Kawaki Karma, and it's a long story. But also, I will say that it gives a little bit comforting of a feeling of him saying, yeah, but I'd rather just reveal it to Konoha along with you. So that's what makes me think, what is he, dog? Hero, villain, vigilante? Like, where are we with this dude? Because it definitely is fascinating that he straight up said, I got all the keys, dog. Look who got the juice now, fam. Amado thinks he's got the juice. I don't know. And I say all of that in this video to say that there was some disappointments. I'm not even gonna front here. I was very disappointed seeing this legendary build-up for somebody stronger than Jigen, only to be bopped by a cybernetic 8-year-old or some shit. Like, that was definitely disappointing. However, the art for the transformation looked dope, and I do see the vision of, if we're still going according to what Ukyo Kodachi's idea was initially of making Boruto somewhat like My Hero Academia, then we're seeing Shigaraki at the end of season 1. When we get to like season 5 and season 6, Shigaraki, and hopefully, granted, it's a lot better done than the anime of My Hero, different story, different topic, we're not gonna go there, then Code might turn out to be one of the most iconic and epic dudes out there, because Shigaraki in some of the wars in My Hero Academia, he was my favorite villain of the current generation generation of villains in Shonen Jump right now. So there's definitely potential there. I don't want to completely discredit that, but where it stands right now, because it was a year and a half of building up this crew of what I felt was going to be the next League of Villains, and it kind of just got dismantled over, you know, feelings and stuff like that. That was really, really disappointing to me and makes me look a little certain way at Kishimoto. If it is indeed the big announcement that we got, what was it, 2 years ago now, that Ukyo Kodachi was stepping over and passing back the baton to Kishimoto. Kishi, dog, where are we going with this, fam? Is it because it's a monthly, you really don't know how to navigate this thing? I haven't been nowhere close to as excited for Boruto as I was all the way to chapters 50 through 52, 53. Like, that was the peak, and since then, I still haven't really felt that same type of excitement, and I'm hoping for it, and I'm hoping we're just at early stages right now. Think of it as a requel. I oftentimes like to look at Boruto as a requel, and if you don't know what a requel is, I will put it here on the screen so you can understand a little bit more, but essentially a requel changes everything. It's not a sequel, it's not a spin-off, it's not a reboot of any sorts. A requel is basically a spiritual refresher, so to speak. Shoutouts to Max Powers for that one. And essentially, really, that's what I'm looking at Boruto as moving forward. I think initially they were just doing it as a straight up, you know, spin-off sequel, you know, that's really just redoing Naruto, and I think they started looking less at that, realizing it's a dead end. People just from the old generation don't give a fuck about Boruto, and focusing in on more of these newer characters and showing the L's that they're going to get, because when the W's come, it'll be that much more impactful. But as it stands right now, it's looking bad out here, fam. We need that time skip desperately. It is crucial to get that time skip. We need Boruto's eye to get scratched, and we need that time skip immediately. However, extremely curious about what you guys think. This is going to be a shit show, people. So if you rock with me, if you appreciate that I took the time to, you know, dive deep into this one, definitely drop me a like for starters and a comment giving me your feedback. But also, how do you feel about all this? Do you feel like Code is the worst villain in all of Naruto verse, or at the very least in Boruto? How does he stack up compared to Ishiki Otsutsuki and Jigen? Again, writing wise, there's so much more to Code now because of the build up, but if there's so much to a character that just feels bland and beat into a corner, does it really matter? Your thoughts on Eida and Daemon moving to Konoha alongside Kawaki being there now? The fact that there's nobody pretty much in Konoha that can really stand up to any of these monsters right now. Like, where are we going with this? Where's the time skip? Why is Code getting beat up by an 8-year-old? Find out next time on Fornev Talks Boruto. And Boruto fans either love it or bash the fuck out of him. Hopefully the former is you. So live for this one. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule. Anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace in, and wow. It was an interesting setup for hopefully down the road. It's just how much more down the road do we gotta go? Like, yo, dog, if this was all a season 1, the last year and a half of Code's rise, like, sheesh, I don't know how much more I can wait for him to actually be epic and really that villain that we want him to be, that surpasses Ishiki Otsutsuki. Have an awesome one. He already surpassed Ishiki. He's way more interesting. You just don't know about quality writing. Yeah, okay, whatever. Have an awesome one. Subscribe.